At this time, you can go ahead and silence your devices as we prepare for our next speakers. It is our hope that you've truly enjoyed everyone that has come prior to this moment. But at this time, for those who haven't met me, I am Erin Wooten. I'm a senior program officer with the Global Leaders Division in Education and Cultural Affairs with State Department. It has truly been a delight and a pleasure to meet all of you here at the Congress this year. And without further delay, I would like to introduce to you our next presenter, Patricia Annette Watts. She is currently serving as the GEC, which is Global Engagement Center, Technology Engagements Division Director. In November 2016, she joined GEC as the Strategic Planner for Partnerships, and in May 2017, moved to the Network of Engagement Office to serve as the Senior Interagency Cyber Coordinator. From June 2015 to June 2016, Patricia was on a detailed assignment with CSCC GEC Department of Defense Cyber Planner and was the lead planner for GEC's first successful campaign, the Families Against Terrorism and Extremism. She served 22 years as a senior U.S. Army Intelligence NCO, in which she gained a solid understanding of asymmetrical conventional warfare, foreign operations, and worldwide terrorism. Patricia formed in many supervisory roles to include the supervision of 170 personnel in Afghanistan in support of the global war on terrorism. After retirement, she was hired as an Army intelligence civilian and deployed to Iraq with a cyber support element. Patricia was then assigned to the Joint Chiefs of Staff as the Cyber Policy International Engagements Branch Chief and worked with over 70 foreign military delegations. She departed DoD after completing a 30-year successful tenure. She holds degrees in business, marketing, and a master's in administration with a concentration in leadership. Without further ado, the well-accomplished Miss Patricia Watts.
Hey, good afternoon, and thank you, Erin, for that introduction. Um, Very great turnout this event is, and I don't want to take too much of your time because I'm not the speaker, the presenter for today. However, I am Patricia Watts, the Global Engagement Center Director of Technology Engagements. Thank you for the opportunity to share some insights from the State Department, GEC, about countering foreign propaganda and disinformation. The information environment in every country today is a battlefield where our adversaries have no qualms about using disinformation, bogus sources, slanted perspectives, and propaganda to distort public perceptions, promote their own interests, and undermine support of the U.S. policy. GEC's mission is to direct, lead, synchronize, integrate, and coordinate efforts of the federal government to recognize, understand, expose, and counter foreign state and foreign non-state propaganda and disinformation. Current GEC's activities fall primarily under the four lines of effort: conducting analytics and research, building international partnerships, challenging threat actor exploitation of the information space, and advancing technology collaboration. GEC aims to facilitate the use of a wide range of technologies and techniques by sharing expertise among the federal departments, agencies, our international partners, and seeking expertise from external sources and implementing best practices. Today, my colleague Paul and I will provide some information about our gaming efforts. In November 2020, the GEC, in collaboration with the Department of Homeland Security, released Harmony Square, an online game that takes players through steps of developing a disinformation campaign to sow division and disrupt the peace of a fictitious town square. And I am also excited to share with you the launch of our latest game, Media Literacy Promotion and Counter Propaganda and Disinformation, Cat Park, which was rolled out this week. Yay. Based on the inoculation theory, both games purposely engage players in the use of disinformation techniques with the goal of building mental defenses against those same techniques when they eventually encountered in the wild of the internet. Harmony Square aspires to tap into the massive pool of nearly 3 billion gamers worldwide. Harmony Square exposed players to tactics and techniques of disinformation, like trolling, emotional language, and rage amplification, until ultimately the disharmony that you inspire in Harmony Square escalates off the pages of social media and into violence on the streets. The efficacy of Harmony Square was assessed by the University of Cambridge, and researchers found that playing Harmony Square resulted in 16% point increase the abilities of each individual player to spot disinformation, and players are 11% points less likely to share disinformation online. Harmony Square has been covered in more than 150 news articles globally and has been played nearly 400,000 times. To date, Harmony Square has been translated into 18 different languages, and there is supplemental media literacy lesson plan available for the game website at harmonysquare.game. Before I turn it over to Paul, I'm asking each and every one of y'all to play Cat Park and let us know what you think about this game. Thank you.
Right. Are we ready to play a video game? All right. All right. So, let's see. Can I take over the screens here? No, that's a great point. So, Call of Duty, Fortnite, League of Legends, the games that you guys have probably heard of, those are recreational games. All right, you're not going to get to play those in school. What we're going to play is what we would call a serious game. All right, but before I get there, so Patricia talked about the Global Engagement Center and our team, the Technology Engagement Division. And if you're curious, the very last slide of this will have a link to our website so you can learn more. So these are our games. It's not Call of Duty, it's not League of Legends. It's Harmony Square, which you can play at harmonysquare.game, and Cat Park, which you can play at catpark.game. Yeah, you heard that right. The State Department did pay to create a game about disinformation and cats. And that inoculation theory that Patricia described, so it's been well documented. It's the same idea that by exposing somebody to an innocuous strain of a virus, like what you might have gotten with the COVID vaccine, with inoculation theory, with disinformation, we're going to see the real tactics and techniques that players and people who would attempt to deceive you use, but in the context of Harmony Square or Cat Park. So, we're not going to try and scare you, but, after playing these games, the idea is that you will be better prepared to spot those tactics and techniques out in the real world. And so these are the tactics and techniques that you would see in Harmony Square. Trolling, emotional language, amplification, and ultimately escalation. So actually, let's break down the barriers here for a second. Have you guys encountered these in your work, in the real world, with your friends, with your family? Yeah, give me an example. What does disinformation mean to you? Why don't we raise hands? Yeah. So you're talking about a couple different things here. You're talking about how disinformation is spread, and then the challenge of debunking, right? So it's the role of journalists and governments to call out when something isn't true. But, by then it might be too late. By then, all your friends and family have seen something on WhatsApp or on Facebook, on Twitter, whatever it might be, and then they think, well, maybe this is true.
When Fox News say Pakistan is the most dangerous country in the world.
Yeah. Other examples of how folks have encountered disinformation. Okay, yeah, so saying that, the results of the election were rigged, it's not true, it's fake. These are examples of disinformation. Yeah. So you're making a distinction here between disinformation and misinformation. And that's a really important point. And I think the way that I think about the difference between misinformation and disinformation is intent. Am I intending to trick you, to deceive you? Am I doing this with intention? Am I doing this intentionally? Versus misinformation, when you might misspeak, you make a mistake. It's an accident. Okay, and to the point that you raised about fake bots and likes, if you play Harmony Square at harmonysquare.game, that is the role of amplification. In Harmony Square, you can buy bots and likes to amplify your message, to spread your disinformation further. All right, I want to keep going here a little bit, but there's going to be more opportunities for engagement. And Patricia talked about the efficacy of our game, that pre-bunking, right? Because the young lady from Colombia, I missed your name, Valeria. So she talked about debunking, that reactive challenge. The goal of our games is to pre-bunk so that each and every one of you is able to look at information, whether you encounter that on social media, whether you encounter that on the news, whether you see that on WhatsApp, whether you hear it from friends and family, and think to yourself, maybe that's not true. Maybe that's not the case. So each and every one of you, hopefully, after playing our games, will be able to pre-bunk disinformation rather than being reliant on those news checkers to do that debunking. And so University of Cambridge has told us that our games work. Harmony Square, which came out in late 2020 and is available in 18 languages and has been played 400,000 times, and there's this supplemental media literacy lesson plan on the game's website. University of Cambridge told us that playing that game, each and every single one of you will be 16 percentage points better at spotting disinformation after playing that game, and 11 percentage points less likely to share disinformation on social media. And that leads us to our second game, Cat Park, which we're going to play through today, and I really encourage you guys to tell your friends and family about Cat Park, catpark.game. Cat Park, similarly, what we're going to see, because we're going to play through it together, exposes those tactics and techniques of disinformation through sensational headlines, sort of those clickbait headlines, something totally outrageous. City prioritizes elitist pets over our kids, maybe? So that clickbait headline to get your attention, or memes or manipulated media. So those are the tactics and techniques of disinformation that you'll see in our game today, Cat Park. All right, so we got to make sure the game works, right? So you all have smartphones. Please take out your smartphones, and if you can, scan the QR code. If you need to walk forward and scan the QR code, you can do that. But we're also going to take the survey together. And here's where I want to get your opinions. So if you were able to scan that QR code, I moved away from it pretty quickly. Let me jump back to that, actually. I got really excited. So scan the QR code. Sorry about that. Yeah, come on, don't be shy. Yeah. And this is, a really important point. What do we think is a cat park? Maybe you've heard of a dog park, so what do we think a cat park is? Nailed it. A park for cats. All right. Did everybody successfully scan the QR code? Great. Okay, so you all should be seeing a survey that looks like this. And so if you want to move ahead with the survey, there are 8 questions. I would just ask that you do not move beyond the first 8 questions. Okay, but we're going to do this together. So the point of this survey, this is how we measure whether or not the game works, whether or not it's doing what we've been told it does and what we expect it to do. So we present the player with this sequence of tweets. 8 tweets, and you are asked to rate the information presented on a scale of 1 to 7. How reliable do you find this information? Do you think it's very reliable, this is trustworthy, this is true? Or this is unreliable, this is fake news? So very reliable is a 7, unreliable is a 1. Okay, so U.S. President Joe Biden argues for child care and free university in speech to Congress. What do we think? Do we think this is reliable, or do we think this is unreliable? Unreliable. I'm hearing reliable. And let's give a little bit more context here. So do we know who tweeted this? No, you don't know who this is coming from. And that's going to be the case for all 8 tweets. I'm not going to show you who tweeted them. There might be some web links. You're not going to see the web link, so you won't know the media source. So you're only going to have the language. Do we think this is reliable or unreliable? All right, so you guys are able to answer these on your own, on your phones. Oh, right, that's not what this does. So I need to scroll down. Okay, the second tweet, horrific TV show inspiring suicide, says filmmaker. So again, we don't know who is tweeting this. We don't have the web link. But how is this tweet different from the first tweet? It's manipulative. How? Why? Yeah, right? They're using that word horrific and suicide to trigger us, to grab your attention. So, you might rate that as perhaps less reliable. Okay, Oh, okay, these aren't my messages. These are somebody else's messages. UK Labour Party to shuffle leadership positions after election losses. So we don't know who tweeted this. We don't have a link. But, I mean, is the language trying to manipulate us? No, it's pretty benign. All right, let's keep it going here. Question number 4. In the last few hundred years, we've gone from an agrarian society to hyper-mock stealth aircraft, space travel, and having supercomputers connected to all of the libraries of the world in our pockets. What if this isn't the first time this has happened? What if? Yeah, okay, yeah, tell me, double down.
Whenever they say what if, you don't know. There's no question to what if. It's quite vague. You can't rely on. It's not factual.
Perfect. Why? All right, yeah. Round of applause. Do we have a word or phrase for what this is? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is a conspiracy theory. Yeah, okay, are folks familiar with conspiracy theories? Maybe do you have conspiracy theories in your own home context or that you've encountered from your friends or family? Give me a good one. Who thinks they've got the best conspiracy theory? Sorry? Okay, yeah, okay, that the $1 bill has a triangle on it, and this is some sort of Masonic conspiracy theory. Oh, lizard people. Oh, 5G caused COVID. These are good ones. All right, I don't actually want to spread any conspiracy theories. I would definitely lose my job. Patricia would fire me. All right, let's keep it going. Professor calls right-wing reporting a form of violence. How about this one? It's polarizing. Is somebody just presenting an opinion, or are they trying to manipulate you? This is a question that you have to answer. You have to sort of figure out what you're comfortable with. All right, we'll keep it going. NASA spacecraft starts trip back to Earth after collecting asteroid samples. Manipulative, not manipulative, down the middle? Sorry? Yeah, you would, yeah. Imagine that there is a link. All right. We're getting towards the end, I promise. U.S. opens safety probe into 1.1 million Honda Accord vehicles. Do we think this is true? Is there language that is trying to move you one way or the other? Sorry? It's presenting information. Yeah. All right, last one. My cousin is studying sociology in university. Last week, she and her classmates polled over 1,000 conservative Christians. What would you do if you discovered that your child is a Homo sapien? 55% said they would disown them and force them to leave their home. All right, so what is this an example of? Perhaps just a spelling mistake, or manipulative, and we have a word for this. A word for this type of manipulation. It's trolling, right? You are intentionally preying upon people's ignorance here. All right, so in this survey, I'm sort of giving you a peek behind the window. I'm showing you, how we measure the efficacy of the game and how we're trying to move people. So what we would do, we're going to play through the game now, but if you guys weren't the incredible professional fellows that you are, maybe you would actually learn after playing the game to identify the trolling, the conspiracy theories, the emotional language. All right, but now we're going to get to the good part. We're going to play Cat Park. Okay, so we're going to do this since you're already in tables and all of you have smartphones. If you want to play the game in a group on your smartphone, if you guys want to play the game individually on your smartphones, I invite you to do that. The website is catpark.game. You can see the URL. And I'm also going to go through it up here on the stage. You can see if you can beat my score or not. You know, maybe, maybe not. All right, are we ready to play? Yes. Are we ready to play? Yes. What is the website? Catpark.game. There we go. And you'll notice that Cat Park is currently available in English, French, Dutch, and Russian. If you would rather play it in one of those languages, I invite you to do that, but I'm going to play it in English. So welcome to the world of Cat Park. Okay, welcome to Cat Park. I'm going to play it without sound, just for ease. Silence is golden. So the good news is that you're brand new to this apartment and the city. Bad news is you're from out of town and you have no friends. I'm sorry. Sadness. So, you know, this is a game. It's supposed to be like the real world. You've got a smartphone, right? All right, so let's look at your notifications. Okay, so Friendy is our in-game social media app. Okay, so here we've got Melanie. Have you guys heard about this cat park thing the city is building? Why? At Melanie. That cat park sounds great. I hear I'll soon be able to take my 12 cats to a new park, drinking my morning coffee, eating at #Marvin's hot dog. Life is good. Okay, so things on the social media world of Friendy, in our world of Cat Park, things are pretty good, right? People are happy. People are living their lives. That was Friendy, the social media app used by anyone and everyone. And now look, we have a new notification. Let's check our smartphone. Want to do something for the greater good? Meet us at the cafe, Le Chatquerie, a friend. Okay, so now we're getting messages on our phones. We're new to town, so all right, maybe we'll actually go and meet up with this person. Okay, yeah, let's go over there. So now I'm going to look on that map inside of the game, and now, oh, I can go to a new location. I can go to the cat cafe. Catpark.game. Yeah, catpark.game. I'm so happy. Look at all this traffic. Patricia, you know, I told you we'd get people to play the game. Okay, so now we're in the cafe, and we meet Melanie. Our mutual friend told me you'd be here today. Hello. Let's get down to business. This city is going crazy. Okay, well, Melanie, I'm just a bit on edge. I'm sure you've heard the city is building a cat park. What is a cat park? It's exactly what you think it is. A place where cats go after they've had a hard day's work of napping and knocking things off tables. Shocking. Told you it's insane. We need to get the word out and stop this. So I'm part of a small group of sane people fighting against the cat park, and we need to get more support. We could really use your help to get people's attention. Will you help me? So this is the first sort of challenge in the game, all right? Are we going to help Melanie spread disinformation about the cat park? Because you guys are the bad guys, right? You guys all came here to be the bad guys, to spread disinformation? No. But, all right, again, the goal of inoculation theory is to expose those tactics and techniques so you're able to spot them in the real world. And I promise in Cat Park, you're not the bad guy the whole time. Okay, so people deserve to know what's going on. Where should we start? Let's spread the word on social media. And so now we're going to launch our first tool, Hot Headlines. So Hot Headlines is the tool we're going to use to craft those clickbait headlines, right? I mean, we've all seen them like, boom, this miracle thing will solve all your problems, right? Like that's a poor example of a clickbait headline, but it might get your attention and then you want to click on it. So we're going to create our own clickbait headline. So breaking news. Fill in the blank. Yeah, talk about it in your groups. You guys are maybe playing together, maybe playing individually. What's the most manipulative language we could put here? All right, I'm going to go with, what do we think? What is more manipulative? Outrageous? Mild shock? Concerning? Outrageous, right? Outrageous! City prioritizes. Okay, now we're attacking the cat park, so let's go with elitist pets over kids, right? Okay, I sort of gave you a sneak peek of this in the slide deck, but there are other things that you have not seen yet. Okay, so we've created this manipulative headline. Melanie says that's fantastic, and our influence starts to grow. So you can see that plus 140 in my case. I don't know if you guys picked a less sensational headline. Okay, so now we're starting to influence people, and so our influence is growing. We're manipulating people. I'm friendly famous, thank you. And your headline is taking off. So now we are making content for Melanie to post in that social media app we saw earlier, Friendy. So Melanie posts the hot headline. So share this hot take. Breaking news, outrageous. City prioritizes elitist pets over our kids. And so now people are reacting to this. At Melanie, city spending on cat park is irresponsible. Yeah, why is money going to cats and not our kids? That's from Best Grandma. She sounds like a great grandma. We should be spending more on healthcare, not cat parks. This is ridiculous. Okay, so, so far, these reactions, they're pretty tame, right? They're not, people aren't going berserk over these headlines. That's going to change as we continue to accrue influence in the world of cat park, as we continue to manipulate people. So good job, people can't start talking about the cat park. Let's push this further and make another hot headline. Okay, so we're going to launch the app. Can you believe? Yeah, all right, so why don't you guys work on your own headlines here, either at your table or individually. Okay, so what do we think? What is a sensational headline we can create to continue to attack the cat park? Can you believe? How about the city is burning money on, right? And it's in all caps, so we really got it. We're just shouting here. Can you believe the city is burning money on a cat park? All right, so again, we check that out with Melanie. Yes, so emotional. Our influence grows by 155, and let's check back in with Friendy. Okay, so Melanie posts the headline up there at the top, and Sam says, I don't get this cat park. It is a bonkers idea. Cat park equals stupid. Fire the mayor. Oh, here's somebody, I like the cat park, or I enjoy the cat park. So reactions are mixed. All right, so now I want to show us the next tactic of disinformation. Okay, so we're going to meet a new friend. So now here you have a decision. You can either go to Marvin's hot dog stand, that's up here, sort of near the top of your screen, or we can see Madison's technology van down in the bottom right. I'm going to go to Madison, but you guys can choose your own adventure. All right, so here's Madison's technology van. Hey, Melanie told me you'd be stopping by. She said you're ready. Let's turn this cat park campaign into a movement. All right. So let's get down to business. Here's the plan. You've gotten some people angry, but we need a quick way to spread your message further. So I already gave you guys a hint. What is another tactic or technique for spreading disinformation? We've explored those sensational headlines. Now what do you think we're going to look at? Memes. Yeah. All right. We need a quick way to spread your message. And what's quicker than just a picture? The average person is online just scrolling until they find something funny. So we introduce our secret weapon. I'm talking about memes. I love memes. Okay, so people are just going to share these memes online, and that's basic psychology, right? So you're being manipulated again by Madison. Okay, so make sure to point out how ridiculous it is, and we've got a new tool in our arsenal, the meme machine. So I'm going to click on the meme machine. And so we've got a number of different possible images and a couple of different captions that we can pair that with. So here's somebody reading 1984 upside down, somebody stuck in traffic, this guy lounging on the beach. Okay, and then back to the guy reading 1984. And a couple of different captions. So all this reading, when the city spends money on cat parks, no park, okay? And then a number of different possible captions on the bottom. No problem, hurts my brain, instead of unfunctioning roads. Okay, take a couple minutes, or yeah, a minute maybe. Chat about it in groups. What do you think is the best meme possible? If we're trying to manipulate people, if we're trying to motivate people to hate the cat park, what meme is going to be most effective at that message? All right, who thinks they've got a good meme? Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, so we think based on the language, this game is best played by somebody who's 15 years or older. But, you know, we've heard from different people that, like, maybe as young as 10, like if they're really sharp kids. All right, so who thinks they've got a good meme? you have one? Okay, the car. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, and what's your name? Philly? All right, so Philly is suggesting the guy stuck in traffic with when the city spends money on cap parks. Oops, sorry, let me come back here. Instead of on functioning roads. Do we think this is a good one? Did anybody come up with a different combination? Sorry, I can't hear you. Okay. Okay. Or the guy relaxing on the beach and no park, no problem. Okay? Alternatives? All right. Why don't we vote on it? Who likes no park, no problem? At least one. No park, no problem? Okay, some in the back. This is a very tentative hand right here. Maybe like, oh, don't call on me. All right, and how about when the city spends money on cap parks instead of functioning roads? Yeah. This is the favorite. Okay, let's check it out. Solid meme. The cat park looks ridiculous. And your influence grows by 320. And let's see how that's being received on Friendy. And the gentleman who proposed the alternative meme, you can push that one too. So new meme for you. Haha, a great meme. I can see why my grandkids love these. That was from Best Grandma. Was my Best Grandma impersonation. Dr. Colin Ambulance. The cat park meme tickles my funny bone. Investing in memes now. Okay, oh, here's concerned couple. Who cares? The government is hiding a sea monster. Okay, so we've got a little conspiracy theorist in our social media feed. Okay, great job. Now let's go see Marvin. All right, so here's Marvin. Did anybody follow you? I saw someone with an eye patch. What? I'll put the close sign and we can discuss. I've seen some of your stuff online. Our mutual friend told me all about you. You're good. All right, I'm going to say, who are you? In my lifetime, I've had many jobs. I'm not at liberty to discuss. Let's just say I know every corner of this city and all its dirty secrets. That explains nothing. Okay? You'll know in time. Now, thanks to you, the people of this town know all about the park for cats, but they're missing some essential context. There's something fishy about this cat park. It's obvious the mayor is involved in an ultra-secret cat-worshipping cult. Whoa, Marvin. Okay, Marvin has gone off the deep end. Marvin is our true believer. Marvin is our conspiracy theorist. Remember the tweet, the hypermock stealth aircraft? All right, Marvin is pretty crazy. I mean, look at him. All right, Marvin may or may not be based on me, okay? How do we know the mayor isn't? We're just asking questions. People will do their own research with a little help from us. So we help by lying? Lying? It doesn't matter if we can't prove this particular fact. The deeper story is true. The city is out of control. Okay, so Marvin is justifying the bad behavior. All right, Marvin believes this crazy thing, and he wants everybody, if not to believe the crazy thing, to at least, okay, ask the questions. Maybe, well, I mean, why is the city spending money on a park for cats? People will always seek out a coherent story to make sense of what they can't control. Who do you think is behind this park? Who do we think is behind the park? Cats? All right, I'm hearing lots of cats. You're more right than you could possibly know. Do you want to hear the ancient truth of our feline friends? Tell me, Marvin. Well, you're not ready yet. Come back later. Okay, so Marvin is sort of inviting you to follow him down the rabbit hole of his conspiracy theory, but only sort of giving you little bites here and there. All right, so come back later and I'll tell you more. For now, let's reveal which people are to blame for this madness about the park. Who do you think is behind it? The government or corporations? Okay, I heard corporations. I mean, it could go either way. Okay, I hear government, I heard corporations. You guys individually can make your own decisions here. I'm just going to click on government. Smart choice. It makes sense that the government is behind all this. And what do they want? Control or money? Control, right? They lust for power. We need to tell the people what's really happening here, but there's one slight problem. To wake the sheep, we need to create photographic evidence. A picture says more than 1,000 words, you know? People are visual creatures. If they see something that backs up the story, they're far more likely to believe it. So now we're going to add the last tool in our tool belt, the image manipulator. So we've seen the manipulative headlines, we've played with the memes, and now we're going to launch the image manipulator. Okay, so we're starting out with this picture of the mayor shaking hands. Okay, maybe the event is about recycling because there's all the recycling logos. Let's spice this up a bit. Okay. Okay, so I've just changed her little button to the three-eyed cat in front of a pyramid. I changed the background. More three-eyed cats in this pyramid. Like, I'm sort of allowing Marvin's conspiracy theory to take life, but we can do more. How about a bribe? Okay, so now we've taken this photo that was of the mayor shaking hands with somebody at a recycling event, and we've changed it into this three-eyed cat conspiracy theory, and there's a bribe. Let's check that out with Marvin. He says that's perfect. Okay, our influence grows, and you can see the campaign again taking off on social media, on Friendly. New photo leaked. The mayor is being bribed. Aha! We knew there was more to this cat park. Hashtag truth. Why has no one made a documentary about this hashtag cat conspiracy? Totally wild. Hashtag catspiracy. Okay, so things are really getting out of control in the world of Cat Park. In the world of Friendly, people are losing it. Okay, so now we need to meet the leader of the organization, and now let's go to the Cat Park where we meet Magnus. You're talented at this stuff. Are you ready to push this anti-Cat Park movement to the next level? Can't wait. Excellent. You've already helped the cause a great deal, and look around you. This cat park is an abomination. All right, so, I mean, you guys can see it pretty well on your smartphones. These are just a bunch of happy little kitties. But Magnus hates cats. Okay. Yeah, it looks terrible. Okay, so now advance through this chapter of the game in your groups. All right, take the next 5 minutes, let's say, and run through the game with Magnus. And with Magnus, what you're going to do is you're going to create more sensational headlines, more memes, and manipulate more media. So either individually or in small groups. All right, I'm covering. Oh, nice. Okay, pretty good. Pretty good. I don't remember. I think it's 2,600. Right, let's jump back into the game. Are we ready to move on? All right, so let's see how you did here. We must strike back your work to expose this abomination Time to deliver the final blow. Okay, so how should okay. Can I ride on the cat's wing? No, you can't ride on the cat's wing. Okay. So to destroy the cat park, we must mobilize the people. What shall we do first? You want to do a meme or create evidence of a cat cult? I heard cat cults. Let's do that. Okay, so we're going to provide evidence. Okay, so here's an old picture of the mayor at a birthday party. And for whatever reason, the mayor was already dressed up like a cat. That seems like a bit of a mistake, but we're going to make it work for us. So let's start changing things. How about the date? All right, let's block that out so people know that this is supposed to be recent. Okay, so she looks okay. Okay, can we get rid of the birthday cake? Ooh. Yep. We can add in this sweet cat statue. And, I mean, these kids are a bit out of place, so let's get rid of them. Okay. That looks pretty good. Nice job. Magnus likes it. The conspiracy deepens. Now let's call the people to action with a meme. Okay, so what kind of memes did you guys create? Who's got a good one? This is supposed to be a call to action. Who's got a meme suggestion? You mean like Leonidas from the 300? Okay, and then to arms. I don't like the cat park. Okay. Okay, yeah. To arms against the cat park. There we go. This is our call to action. Let's bring it down. Patricia's like, you've created a monster. All right, and then the last tool here. So who's got, they think, the best hot headline? We must act. Pro-park maniacs are ruining our squirrels. City. That's right. Pro-park maniacs are ruining our city. Okay. All right, so we've really made people angry, and so let's see what's happening on Friendly. I knew it! The mayor is part of a bizarre cult! Okay, in all caps, I would break the microphone if I think I shouted this. Let's burn down the park! Meet at 7 p.m. on the park grounds! Okay, so things are getting out of hand. If people are going to meet at the cat park and burn it down, okay, I'm going to skip through here. We're going to go back home. And this is where we meet Carmen. And Carmen says, you've been manipulated. All right, I'm going to fast forward here a little bit so we have plenty of time for question and answer. Okay. I'm not judging your actions, but I think there are some things you should know. Magnus is not just any concerned citizen. He's a billionaire with an evil plan. He wants people to destroy the cat park so the city will sell him the land for dirt cheap. So this is why you've been manipulated. Remember, that first message you got in your apartment. You're friendless, you're new to the city, and somebody invites you into their community. And maybe you don't know initially what you're signing up for. Okay, I'll create some headlines maybe. Oh, memes. Memes are pretty harmless. And now you're manipulating media until what happens? Your messages, okay? So Magnus tells you that he's the one who's been manipulating you, and really what I want to get to, I got to fast forward here. Let's go back to the cat park where there are no more cats. People have burned it down. They attacked the cat park, all right, because of your actions, right? Because of your headlines, because of your memes, because of your manipulated media, people got so angry that they tried to burn down the cat park. So now let's try and see if we can undo this damage. All right, so let's try a meme. We're going to try and use a meme to calm things down. All right, we're going to launch the meme machine. All right, so what meme do we think we could use to calm down people about the cat park? Take a minute. We've got the smiling skeleton, this cute little kitty, sort of questioning bear. Did attacking the cat park, me waiting, we don't care about the cat park. Okay. Who thinks they've got a good meme for people to calm down? Oh, come look at it. Sorry, yeah. Okay, so did attacking the cat park fix anything? Okay, that's the caption that I left up. And what image? The thinking bear. Okay, so this is one possibility.
Or maybe the innocent cat, because the cats are the ones that
Okay. Alternatives? Did anybody create a different meme? All right, let's, we'll wrap this up so we can move to the discussion section. All right, so that makes sense. We posted on social media. Your memes are bad and you should feel bad. Lame meme, cat park sucks, you suck. I agree, this cat park outrage has gone too far. This viewpoint is too simplistic. Carmen is an undercover city agent. Okay, so this isn't working. It looks like memes are better for ironic jokes than serious reflection. All right, so this is where I want to stop it. But this is what the game tells us, that it's really hard to put the genie back in the bottle. We've spread the chaos, we've sowed discord, we've burned down the cat park. And then it's really hard to get people to sort of calm back down. It's hard to lower the temperature. And that's where the game leads us. So you get a score, and then you would be presented with that same survey that we discussed in the beginning that shows us an example of trolling, of a conspiracy theory, of emotional language, and hopefully you guys would all be better at spotting those tactics and techniques of disinformation after playing the game. All right, that's all I've got. Question and answer. I think we've got 20 minutes here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Perfect. All right, I'm going to repeat the question. So the game is very American-centric. Our audience, I should say, is explicitly not American. So how can we make sure that this game is going to work in all the places where you guys live? Okay, so as I mentioned, the game is available in English, French, Dutch, and Russian. But it's not just a one-to-one translation. Okay, the game is localized for each individual context so that the jokes will resonate better in that place. So, if you played through the game in Russian, the jokes are going to be a little bit different. The memes are going to be a little bit different. And that's so that hopefully a Russian-speaking audience playing through the game or a French-speaking audience playing through the game, they'll like the joke because it makes sense. I mean, they know these jokes. Like, they get them. Additionally, one feature that we can do with this game is change the physical appearance of the characters to look more like players in different countries. So that's another possibility that we're exploring. Thanks for the question. Yeah. Target audience and age, yeah. So we think based on the language of the game that it's for an audience that's 15 years or older. Now, there was the question at the very beginning, you know, like, when I said, let's play a video game, are we gonna play Call of Duty? Well, you know, we're the State Department, we're not gonna create Call of Duty. And, you know, this game can't compete with Call of Duty. But we're not trying to compete with Call of Duty, all right? You guys all played the game with us, and I invite all of you to think about how you could be using the games in your professional vocations to teach media literacy, to challenge disinformation, however you are encountering it. This is supposed to be a fun way to teach media literacy, right? Hopefully you liked the game. Hopefully you enjoyed playing through the game. It wasn't chocolate-covered broccoli. All right, that's what we want this game to do. We want this game, you know, it's something that in a school, or if you've been to an American Center or American Corner and the places where you live, this is something that you might find there. And it would be part of an activity with a facilitator or an educator to run through the game. Because, I mean, I remember from when I was in school, you know, the teacher might have to teach something. And, you know, it's the same thing every day, right? You open up your textbook, you know, you got to lug it out of your backpack. You know, okay, that gets tiresome. Like, this is supposed to be a fun way to teach media literacy so that your teacher isn't just giving you the piece of paper that she's recycled every year for, you know, 10 years. This is the fun way to teach media literacy. More questions? Patricia. Yeah, so so the question was, how can we expand the game? I mean, so the game is not in Spanish. The game is not in Portuguese. The game is not in Arabic. You need to tell me right now that you want the game in Spanish. Okay, you want the game in Romanian. Interesting. You want the game in Hindi, interesting. Okay, you want the game in Bengal, okay. So when you guys go back home, and if you're in contact with U.S. Embassy representatives in your country, you need to tell them, hey, I played this game, Cat Park, it was a blast. I have an idea of how I could be using it in my work. All right, I teach in a school. I'm a journalist. These are different opportunities for you guys to roll the game out in your communities, but you need it in a new language. So send that request to somebody from the U.S. Embassy, and then they'll send it to us.
What kind of research or surveys did you do while creating these questions, the game, the sentiments, any, you know, share some thoughts or inputs?
Yeah, okay, so a question about the research that informs the game. So I shared that bit about inoculation theory. So that research is pioneered by the University of Cambridge from their social decision-making lab. The researchers that we work with, their names are Sander van der Linden and Jan Rosenbeek. And they're sort of these two researchers that we talked to about this idea of inoculation theory. Okay, so and I explained that a bit at the beginning. You know, it's the same idea that with the vaccine, you know, you're exposing yourself to an innocuous strain of the virus. With these games, we're exposing you to a ridiculous version of disinformation. But with the disinformation, sort of the key to inoculation theory, it should be empowering. So we put all of you in the driver's seat. You all were playing the game. You were controlling the action. So the game should be empowering. The game should be apolitical. Okay, I don't know how many of you are just like, oh, I smashed the microphone. I don't know how many of you are like devoted to cat parks. Like, you believe in the cat park. Okay, we intentionally didn't make a game, about COVID. We intentionally didn't make a game about whatever is sort of the hot button topic in your country. We made a game about a park for cats because that's not going to make anybody angry. So the game should be empowering, it should be apolitical and non-judgmental. So those are sort of the keys to this inoculation theory: apolitical, non-judgmental, and empowering. And so University of Cambridge published about Harmony Square. You can find the results of that. I mean, if you just Google Harmony Square, Harvard misinformation review, you'll find the article. And they're seeking publication now for the efficacy results of Cat Park. And so how did we measure whether or not the game works? So, for the last 2 months or so, you could have found the game, maybe secretly, and then at the beginning and end of the game, you would get that survey, very similar to what we played through at the very beginning of the game. So a sequence of 8 tweets in which you're asked to rate the information in the tweet on that scale of 1 to 7. How reliable do you find the information presented? And it's the difference between the pre-survey and the post-survey where we're finding out that the game works. So University of Cambridge told us that after playing the game, players are 19 percentage points better at spotting disinformation. 19 percentage points. So that's the difference between the test and the control group. The control group, I don't know how many of you are statistic nerds, the control group played Tetris. All right, they didn't get to play Cat Park, they weren't cool enough. The group that did play Cat Park, they're telling us that after playing Cat Park, people are 19 percentage points better at spotting disinformation and 15 percentage points less likely to share disinformation online. Oh, yeah.
I have a question. So the game, I don't know if you already said this, but the game was developed by in-house experts or an outside firm. How much taxpayer money was invested, was dedicated to the production of the whole game? And do you have a release date for the population that you're targeting to, for them to actually play it?
Okay, so I think there were 2 questions there. Who created the game and who's the audience?
No. Who created it? Then do you have a release date and how much money was?
Oh, release date. Oh, and funding.
And the funding.
I'm not going to tell you the funding.
Why?
Sorry.
Why? It's a public information thing. Okay.
Tell them the funding?
Oh, well, I'm a journalist, by the way.
I don't think I'm going to tell you the funding. Okay, but the developer was, they're called Tilt. They're based in the Netherlands. You can find them, on Twitter, they're tilt_co. I can't remember their website now offhand, but it's Tilt or Bad News. And they're a video game studio that specializes in these serious games based in inoculation theory. So they've created our games, Cat Park and Harmony Square, and they created another game called Go Viral and Get Bad News. And all of these games work the same way of exposing the player to tactics and techniques of disinformation so that you're better prepared to spot fake news in the future. And the release date, the game is live. So we're promoting the game on social media. I invite all of you to please post on social media. I loved playing Cat Park. Cat Park is the best game in the world. There are no other games before Cat Park. Nobody else should ever create another video game ever. It's all done. Please post on social media. Okay, so the funding, so here's what I can say about the funding. Our funding is appropriated from Congress, and so this was a congressionally authorized expenditure. Okay. Yes, in the back. Oh, good question. So website versus app. So web browser based, that means we can hit people who have a phone as well as people who might be playing on their computer. We have looked at an app-based version of the game, but that we haven't made a decision about that.
One thing this game does is it does a sort of a negative information. It teaches you how if you create it teaches you how misinformation is spread by creating misinformation, right? But I think one feedback in general is, I think that's something that gets missed when we are introduced to the game. I see two ways that somebody can interpret it.
Yes. Okay, so your question is, are we training people to be trolls? Are we making people into bad guys? Hopefully not. No. Yeah, that is something that I've heard from other folks. Like, are we training people to be bad guys? Well, so for those of you who have played video games, here's what I would say. Is it very fun to play the good guy? Like, it's more fun to play the bad guy. And so that was part of our rationale for you being the disinformation agent. But here's something that I want to sort of say about that. So, the function of Carmen at the end of the game is to give you that shot at redemption, to try and undo the damage of your disinformation. And so by playing the bad guy and then getting that shot at redemption, you see just how hard it is to undo the damage of disinformation. Yeah, and that links back to inoculation theory. Here, wait, Patricia, do you want to? Okay, other questions, comments? Okay. Don't be shy. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Patricia.
Who decides, so cat park is an outrageous idea, but in real life, who decides what disinformation is?
Oh.
And that is, I think, one of the difficulties now, is that there is a disagreement about what is disinformation.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so Patricia's question was, who decides? Who is the arbiter of what is disinformation? And, I mean, I'm going to turn that right back to you guys. Who decides what is disinformation? Yeah. A lot of good points there. So, yeah, watching out for clickbait, watching out for tone, checking your sources, and thinking twice before you click the share button or click the like button. So what works for you? What works?
For me, is what's morally, for my moral standards, am I killing somebody or whatever, am I hurting somebody? I think that's a gauge for me. Am I hurting anyone? If anyone's not being hurt by my actions, why?
Okay. Did you want to respond? Yeah.
Hi. My question is regarding the survey we took prior to the game. I thought it's interesting how you phrased the question as, did, how reliable is this statement? So I have a bit of a concern with that statement because I feel like people associate, you will rely on information when you see the source more than the statement itself. So isn't it more, do you believe this is true, or do you think it's false information? So I just feel like that, because like even if I were to take the same survey again after the game, I'll still be like, okay, like, will I rely? How would I rely if I don't know who is saying this? I feel like you rely on things when you kind of like the source is available to you, whoever it may be. It could be someone credible, it could be someone who is just, propagating false information, but I just feel like the source needs to be there for you to rely on something. So yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean, so when you're taking that survey, either before or after playing the game, I'm not going to tell you who's posting the tweet. I'm not going to give you any sort of identifying link information. And so that question, or that keyword reliable, that's the word that University of Cambridge has said, and other researchers have affirmed for inoculation theory. That's the key word, reliability. And so it's asking you to make a judgment call based purely on the language, on sort of the sentiment or the tone of that language, right? So there was the benign one, like NASA sending a probe, or the test into the Honda Accords, right? The recall. But then there are those other tweets that have that really emotional or sensational language, right? The horrific, or the question about, is this the first time this has happened? The conspiracy theory. Then there was the trolling with the Homo sapiens. So yeah, that question of reliability, or do you believe, I mean, that's what it's asking, right? Do you believe this information is reliable? But you only have the language, you only have the tone. Other questions?
Because it's coming from the government paper, the information is there, it's just presented in an emotive way, it's still reliable.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, if we really wanted to understand how reliable or unreliable those tweets were, we'd want to know who, we'd want to know, and if you don't recognize the person who's tweeting it, you'd want to know more about them, like what is their agenda, the links that are provided, okay, what are the sources for these, and to the point that was raised, I mean, you want to then, okay, what are their sources that they're using? But with the game, I'm not going to give you that. I'm only going to give you the language for the tone. And so that's why, the game is sort of challenging you to make these assessments. Now, hopefully the game is also challenging you to dig deeper, to do more research. But, for the purposes of just the game and the quick survey before and after, you only have the language. Any more questions? Mm-hmm.
My question is, like, if we go back about 10 years ago, maybe 12, so it's undeniable, like, during the Arab Spring, social media was a giant platform to put people on the streets to further So my question to you is that at what point do we like decide, that the government is wrong?
I'm not sure I followed the question. So social media, certainly for the Arab Spring, that was an incredible tool for people to mobilize, to get around government censors, to figure out, okay, we're going to meet at this time in this place, and we're going to protest. But take me to the next. What was the next point you were trying to make?
Are there any safeguards from the government to stop people from overthrowing the government like this?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll speak for the U.S. perspective, right? Like, the First Amendment to the United States Constitution protects free speech. So, I mean, if your question is, like, what are the limitations on speech? Now, I should say, I am not a lawyer. But I cannot shout, fire, run away. I'm not going to, sort of put more emphasis into it. But that would be unconstitutional. That is not protected speech because I am trying to incite violence. I'm trying to incite a reaction. But, I mean, it is not the government's role in the United States to curtail free speech. But there are limits. Well, I'm not going to answer that. I really like my job.
Mark Zuckerberg is walking free, so he has our location, our data, everything is there.
So the best answer is to better educate yourself so that you can make a decision on what is true and what is not.
Yeah. Right. And I think that's a good place to leave it. That, the goal of this game, of serious games like Cap Park and Harmony Square, is to give you the tools to spot disinformation in the future. All right. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you have a wonderful time while you're here in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming today. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.